Okay guys, so we're finally going to be doing the tactic video for the 3-4-2-1 that we are going to be doing a review for. That is going to be from a pro player. This is a tactic that I've been using for a lot of the player reviews, and I just never really got around to actually making the video for it. After we talk about the tactic and the formation and all that kind of stuff, we'll talk about the types of players you're going to want in the team afterwards, right? So this 3-4-2-1 has been a formation that a lot of people have been using because, to be honest with you, it's actually really well balanced, especially with the types of players that you are going to need in your team to be able to fully utilize it, right? So the 3-4-2-1 is lined up like this, right? So we have it like so. This will be from a pro player. We'll be leaving a link down below to his, I believe it's a Twitter post, because there was a YouTuber that also did a review for it. And he's the person that won the European Championship with this formation, right? So obviously it's got to work out really well in game. So defensive style is going to be unbalanced, 40 for width, 65 for depth. Build-up play unbalanced, direct passing for chance creation, width at 50, and then a 6 for players in the box. People send me these tactics, right? They just usually send me pictures on Twitter, and they're like, hey, can you try this out? This is like from this guy, he did this, and then we just basically go from there, right? Instructions. So the instructions are like this. So I always put comes or crosses, sweeper, keeper on my goalkeepers. I think it's always helpful to work with, but that's really down to the person. Some people may like it, some people may not. It's really up to you, right? The center backs are untouched. You just leave them as it is. Your two center mids are on stay back while attacking, cover center. Your right mid in the team is going to be on come back in defense, get into the box with a cross. Your left mid is also going to be come back in defense, get into the box with a cross. Your two wingers, I believe it's wingers in this formation. Your left winger, your right winger are untouched. They kind of just do their own thing. And then your striker is on stay central, get in behind. It would not be a terrible thing to take off the stay central, get in behind, and leave him unbalanced if your player has, you know, proper attacking AI. A very good example of that is someone like Mbappe, Correa. These types of guys are fantastic to use in that way because they'll make those types of runs anyways. But the stay central, get in behind, a lot of the times is usually just for you to put consistent pressure against the back line, and then for these guys in the side positions to actually open up quite a bit, right? So definitely a very interesting formation. We're going to be talking about what you are going to want from this formation because or the types of players you're going to want from this formation, because it's obviously going to be very important. So your defenders, you guys can see here that the way that we have the team set up is that it is very linear for the 3-back formation, right? So try your best to get a left back that can actually play in the left back position as well as the center back area. I know that the pro player, I think when he had his team, he was using the Theo Hernandez card, and you guys know from the player review that Theo Hernandez is a full meta card. He's absolutely disgusting. So being able to use him as the left center back in that 3-back formation is very helpful. In this case, we were using Kolasinac as the left center back in the 3-back formation. He plays it perfectly fine, but he's not as good in the left back position, right? So it's good to have that rotation depending on the situation of the game, because you're not always going to want to be in the 3-back, right? You know, we still have Eric Bailly. Thiago Dijalo is honestly super underrated. He's actually pretty solid in this game, to be honest, because in this game you definitely need that pace and all that good stuff. He's very good. Eric Bailly is still very solid, right? So I have him in the middle, then Thiago Dijalo on the side, because the fact that Thiago Dijalo is a fast player, you want to have your fastest players in the side ones, and then your middle one can be like the very good defensive one, right? He might not have to be like as fast, but obviously pace is still going to be very relevant in every single situation. Now, if you guys watched the review for the Vanderson card, you'll remember that I told you guys that the way that you may want to format this card in your team is as your attacking oriented center mid, or if you're playing in a 3-back formation where he's played as your left mid or your right mid, depending on the situation of your team. So because we have the Hakimi card over here, which is a big reason why we didn't do the Team of the Year review, because I didn't feel like, I never got his loan, and I didn't feel like buying the card to do the review since I already had this card. You know, it's just one of those types of situations. But if you take a look at Hakimi's card, this is a card that can attack and defend, right? If you guys have ever dribbled with this card, like his left stick is actually pretty solid, right? For a defender, because he's very agile, which is obviously incredibly helpful to work with, because these guys, they attack sometimes, right? But they attack to open up space through the middle, which you guys are going to see from the highlights, because you don't really often score that much with these guys. Like I don't really often score with Vanderson either. I don't think I ever like score a goal with him. That's why for the sake of the review, we kind of like put him in the main attacking positions, because the way that you would naturally use these guys is just different, right? So a card like Hakimi is a perfect example of someone that you can use in that position. You know, Cancelo is another one too that you can use in that area too, because I think they've reached a point with that card where he has attacking and defensive capabilities. So that would obviously be fantastic as well. So you'll see in this team that we're actually using Carlos Soler and Fofana. The types of players you can use in this formation, there's so many different types, which is fantastic in itself, right? But you can use both of your players as high work rated players if you really want to. It's perfectly fine. You can also use a high medium with a high. That would be fine as well, because they're two center mids. I've seen pro players even using like a 4-4-2, and they don't even care about the medium high work rate sometimes, or whatever, the high. They just have two center mids that are really good. For instance, like they usually use like a Hullet and somebody else. I forget who the other guy is, right? But you know, in our case, there's so many different cards you can use. So I have Carlos Soler and Fofana. That would be perfectly fine. I have the Tudom card. This card I'm going to put into an SBC at some point, because he's, you know, I told you guys in the review that even if he got upgraded, didn't feel like he was going to be that special. But Fofana, really good card to get. Really enjoyed using him. Tudom is in the team too, so if I really wanted to, I could put Tudom on that right side. But Carlos Soler is nice because he has that 5-star weak foot. So being able to play a card like this in that left center mid area, while Fofana is the right center mid position with a 4-star weak of 4-star capability, is great, because he's physical as well. He's a big guy. At 6'1", offers a physical presence, good defensive stuff, right? So it's really well balanced to have in that midfield setup. If you wanted to work with Carlos Soler with like a Guendouzi or something, or Tonali, you can do that, right? Your CDM, or not your CDM, but your center mid that is more defensive oriented, try to get cards that can at least dribble a little bit, right? So obviously with a card like Palinha, like I always mentioned to you guys, Palinha is more sluggish, right? So having him play in the main CDM position for a 4-2-3-1 is perfect, because he's not really the center mid type that actually might have to dribble from time to time, and it's not really as defensive oriented, right? So when he's playing that CDM position, it's perfect for the defensive stuff, because he's got crazy defensive animations. But as a center mid, it's different, right? It's usually more ideal to get players that actually have good dribbling capabilities. As you guys know, I have someone like Tonali. So Tonali should be here, right? So Tonali is a really good example of like a center mid that you can use that has attacking and defensive capabilities, because he can actually dribble with the ball while still being a medium high work rate card. This is such a W card to get, because he's going to last you a long time this year. Like even in the Serie A right now, he's probably still the best medium high that they have, as far as I can remember, right? And then your left mid and your right mid for this 3-back formation, like I was saying, you want attacking and defensive oriented cards. So what's a good reason for me to get this Vanderson card is the fact that he actually has some defensive capabilities, right? So having some defensive capabilities while still being able to attack in that position is fantastic to work with, right? Because it's a card that can dribble well in that position, because you don't care about dribbling stats as much in that left mid or right mid area. I've seen some people actually using De Ketelaere, the guy from AC Milan, if I remember his name correctly. They've actually been using that card in the left mid position, and he's been perfectly fine, because he's a lengthy player that can basically push forward, come back. And obviously he'd be fantastic to work with there too, because he's left-footed. So you could totally do that, you know. But I like the Vanderson card. I had to switch. I had Mbappe, and I actually took Mbappe off for one of the reviews that I did, because I had to use a left mid in that position. Obviously I could have changed it, but then I had to go buy position changes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that position, that's how that is. And then what's nice about this formation is that the main attackers up top, like the 3 guys up top, you can rotate that a lot, because you're forcing the instruction of stay central, getting behind out of your striker. Obviously try your best to get good high-low or high-medium work rated cards, because they will perform best in my opinion. Sometimes there are some high work rated cards that you can use in that area for sure, but your playstyle would have to be adjusted just a tiny bit, right? But you know, I still use players like Dimitri Payet, I use Ben Yedder, and honestly it's been perfectly fine to work with. Obviously these cards belong in certain positions more than others, but you know, it's one of those types of situations. So yeah, this tactic is really good. I'm gonna show you guys some highlights of a lot of the goals that we ended up scoring, because we've been using this formation for a while now, and it's a lot of good goals, a lot of very authentic goals. It's hard to get authentic goals in the next gen version of FIFA because of the direct passing tactic being very linear when it comes to the types of goals that you score. So it's nice to be able to score different types of goals with a formation that's still very effective against the meta of the game. It's a formation that on the transition forward is nice, and then transition back it's nice. The left mid, right mid on the comeback and defense while still being attacking oriented is a very big deal to work with. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this little introduction. I'll show you guys the highlights, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.
Very good teams, a great atmosphere and everything to play for. This should be a top quality game, Derek.
And here's the starting 11 for Saints. Edouard Mendy stands between the posts. Frank Rijkaard plays alongside Rafael Varane in central defence.
Oh, Derek, can he finish it?
Oh, okay, okay. That is a class goal.
Squandered the chance, and he knows it.
Well, it wouldn't have counted anyway. He was offside, but nonetheless, that was a poor attempt.
Torres. Well, that is how to play advantage. This could square the game.
That worked.
That's defending, but the chance still there. Will it be? And Fernando Torres.
Nice.
Kylian Mbappe. Mahrez. Well, a joy to watch. And still looking to get the shot off. Torres. And Palinha with it. Torres.
There it is.
Goal line here. What's going to happen next? Torres. Return to Mbappe. Oh, big opportunity.
Nice little tap shot.
Mbappe. It's there for
Tap shot again. Nice.
crossed accurately towards the far post.
Okay. He does get that header though. It was so strong that the goalie like had no chance. He was like, no, I can't save that.
And it's Kim Min-jae. Ribery. Still level here, but the pressure escalating. Can he put them in front?
Nice. Good job. Good job. Nice little ball roll driven pass. Good goal.
Scoreline. Benassa. Now with Ribery. In position.
Okay, the tap shot worked. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work out.
They need to get tighter here. Might it be Mbappe?
Nice. Good job.
He's gone in first.
Gets involved in the attack. Does a really good cross. We score a nice little opportunity.
And this is the initial 11 for the visitors today. Gianluigi Donnarumma stands between the posts. Ashraf Hakimi plays with Sead Kolasinac in the fullback positions. And the tactical
Oh, big chance here, Derek.
Ooh, let's go, Gary.
And a goal on his
Let's go, Gary, my boy.
Fred. Just cutting off the supply. Ben Yedder. A real opening now.
There you go, Gary.
The textbook interception.
I needed that good.
And the rep. And it might be.
Tap shot. There you go.
Oh, he's lost possession of the ball. Ben Yedder must take the lead here.
Hey, you can't even lie, having that weak foot for that situation to make that pass.
There. Fayez. And still trying to get the shot off. Can he put it in?
Yeah, I just had to work the small little dribbles and then get the tap shot off for the near post. I like that the tap shot's like really effective, to be honest with you. I love it because I created that space and I scored it. Like I love it.
A wonderful intervention. This could level it. And
That was super lucky. Super lucky. We'll take it though.
Soler. brilliant build-up at the moment. This could be the equaliser.
Good goal.
Soler. Jalot. Payet. Might go ahead.
Nice goal, boys. Well done.
A really sumptuous ball.
That works.
Can he take the chance?
I was about to say, there's no way I don't score that, right? There's no way. There's no way. Thank you, Carlos. Tap shot. Yes, Gary.
And the defender got the last touch. That'll be a corner. No trouble at all as far as the keeper was concerned.
Nice. Good strike. Good strike.
Seko Fofana. And space to cross it. Can he do it?
Nice.
Yes, who knows? Maybe another opportunity in the works for them. Soler. Fofana with it. In with a chance.
Nice. Good placement.